me see what's going on over here.
And of course I was muted before that entire thing, so let's do this again. The Rat Plague. Excerpt from a natural philosopher's notes. For over a year, I've studied this cursed plague, collecting and dissecting rats by the thousands. Given their rapid gestation and maturation cycle, it's impossible to breed them for numerous generations. The rodents themselves seem immune to the plague, but they pass it readily between members of their own species, perhaps through mites. The blood of the rats tells its own story, allowing me to gauge the number of generations that a given group of rats have lived with the plague. As such, a nagging question remains. The rats collected in the poorest parts of town, in the slums, exhibit the oldest strains of the plague, while those found near the docks, where the foreign plague-bearing rats would presumably have entered the city, exhibit a younger strain of the plague. Could this mean that the rats were transported to the slums in some way that is not obvious? I will continue my research. If nothing else, I am living proof that Sokolov's elixir and Piero's remedy are very effective at protecting against the plague, if one consumes enough of the stuff. Robust 1. Potions give you slightly more health. Okay, so that's not so bad, I guess. That's a guaranteed. The amount, however, is probably very small. Bootleg still instructions. Operating instructions. Attach an empty elixir vial to the spout before you turn the thing on. Turn on the valve. Collect a full vial. Repeat until empty. Do not break vials. Do not spill any elixir. No free swigs. Spring Razor. A spring razor trap can be attached to any surface by aiming at it and pressing a button. It will be triggered as an enemy approaches it, throwing up a cloud of shrapnel. It will kill whatever it is that it hits. You are an exception in that you'll just take heavy damage if you approach it. These can be very useful, and I believe they are also silent. Elixir accounts. Next batch. Tubbard family 4 doses. Cramling family 3. Braden family 5. Golden Cat 2 crates. Bitterleaf Almshouse 1 crate. Ednac 1 dose. Luther 1 dose. Black Sally 2 crates. Griff past due. Trace Flannery 2 doses. Pratchett family 5 doses. Nellie and Morris Sullivan 2 doses.
I'll move over here. Picked up anything good? Any fools settling over here? Not fast. I'll move over here. Right.
Want to look at some of the things I found? Good prices, I swear.
Yeah, let me see what you've scavenged, Griff. Okay. Rewire tools, bolts, sleep darts. These are all more expensive than they would have been if I bought them from Piero. We're good on sleep darts, we're good on bolts. I could use more rewire tools, but I'm not willing to spend 200 for them. We're fine on bullets. We can't carry any more Sokolov elixir, but I think we'll pick up this lens for more magnification for our mask. I'm not going to take Sokolov's formula, however, if only because, well, unless these are going absolutely horrible, we shouldn't need to buy any Sokolov's elixir ever. The Eradication of Black Sally. Excerpt from a popular story of crime and daring by Jules Robin and the City Watch. Before Slackjaw ran the streets in the distillery district, there was no boss more ruthless, violent, or dedicated to squeezing the average citizens for coin than Black Sally. Like so many from Morlaix, she was pale-skinned and green-eyed, with hair as black as the void. They say that she started young. As a girl, she'd stun a man with her looks, coming upon him in the alley, then smile a one-sided smile and suddenly run him through with a knife. She'd have his money, be on her way before he breathed his final breath. As a boss, she was worse, ruling over the meanest street gang Dunwall had seen up to that time. Her operation touched everything from shipping to prostitution. She even had a racket going with the Bakers Guild, a finger in every pie indeed. One man, Watch Captain Jules Robin, made it his mission to stop her, and kept the case going for half a decade. Black Sally met her end when Robin had his men light smoke fires in barrels near the warehouse where she hid out during the day. As she and her gang rushed into the streets, terrified the building was burning, Captain Robin and his top officers threw nets over them and ran them all through with blade and pistol shots. But we saw Black Sally, or someone who had that name, be gaining a crate of elixir from the Bottle Street gang. Interesting.
me again what you'll do if Slack John is Battlefield Boys jump. You always amuse me. Better make a pass over here. Die!
Oh, stupid goddamn dumb son of oh God. It's just ridiculous. Stupid rats. Plague. Elixir. Bunch of crap. Stupid goddamn.
Another patrol with you.
Rat Behavior and Extermination. Excerpt from a series of interviews with street workers by rat catcher Lena. Used to be, you go out with a bag, a stick, with a nail on the end, and catch as many rats as you could in a night. The city watch paid by weight. My husband Benjamin and I mostly worked alone, and we got by. If we found a place where the rats were real bad, sometimes we'd hire a crew of street brats to work with us, the younger ones who didn't make trouble. We'd pay them with bread and apple cider. Once the plague came, the rats were different. Meaner, bigger, and a little quicker. You had to watch yourself. If you got cornered, they'd turn and the swarm would come back at you. I barely got away with my skin a few times down in the sewers. The bites hurt afterward, but it was the sounds they made that stayed in your dreams at night. It got more dangerous and the city watch started paying better, but that didn't last long because after a while too many people had been stripped clean trying to fill up a bag. One slip and they'd be all over you, gnawing and trying to chew down to the bone. That's how I lost my poor Benji.
Obviously, the plague rat is distinct from the ordinary rat, but in what respect? Its size and the coarseness of its fur, and I believe in intelligence, although the experiments there are not complete. Coriander's Zoological Survey describes only the ordinary rat, which means plague rats have only been here for 5 or 7 years at most. This was not a gradual migration. Could they have been introduced on purpose? Perhaps by a foreign power.
The Leviathan's Sorrow. Excerpt from a report on a treatise banned by the Rudshore Trade Council. Little is known of Pacati, credited with his series of pamphlets arguing against the whaling trade. While he is gifted, his views are nonsense and threaten the economic underpinnings of the empire. Number 1. Enslavement. on the breeding and husbanding of whales versus hunting the beasts in the wild after a natural and free life cycle. Picardi offers no solutions for where these massive, malevolent creatures might be pastured. 2. Dissolution. Laments on the destruction of social bonds between herd members. Picardi actually uses the term families. 3. Harmony. Drivel on the aesthetic wonder of what is, in reality, the great and terrible ocean that ever threatens to swallow us. Includes arguments on the gentle nature of the brutes, a notion refuted by seamen who return to shore, wide-eyed with tales of the whale's savagery. 4. Disruption. Here Picardi is on his weakest footing, issuing up feverish warnings against the displacement or transference of natural beasts from their native environments. Galvani Academy Notice. Galvani. The latest case should arrive within a week, containing all the components you need. Be careful with the white phosphorus. Can't have you getting Fossy Jaw like the Tanners at the edge of the city, poor bastards. Sorry you have to practice in secret. The vivisectionist would be celebrated, revered even. Cutting up rats should be done in the town square with a crowd of eager students taking notes, not in some dirty little secret room behind a wall of books. Anyway, lucky for you to have an old friend who never left the academy. Let me know what else you need, but remember, it might be a month before I can put together another shipment. Yours in knowledge, Artemis Moore, Procurement Clerk and Provisioner, Academy of Natural Philosophy, South Wing. P.S. Next time you're nearby, come in for an afternoon. We've stayed fairly insulated from the plague, since so few come and go here, and we've got quite the stock of Tivian brandy. Sewer capacity, the month of nets. Excerpted interview attached to a formal report by City Works Crew 17A. I have been asked to tell the problem, so here it is. It's been every year that we work like men gone mad during the month of nets. I don't hardly see my family. It's bad enough that the works is clogged with trash from the catch, pieces of crates and nets, but the water smells of hagfish guts too. We got to get it done before the month of rain, or you know what. And it ain't like we got help from those pricks in civil engineering, neither. Been at this job for nigh on 28 years, and I never seen one of them come below. Except to measure it, will they go putting up one of their fancy new bridges. So these last 3 years have been the worst, and here's why. It's the river crusts. Moved into the works, we hear a man ahead yell and scream like he's burning up. And we all climb up fast. No other choice.
Wait, did you touch the door handle to Dr. Galvani's lab?
Yeah, I think so.
Then you have to scrub. The rats get their vital essences everywhere, the doctor said.
Vital essences? Does that mean guts?
I think so. So your hands need scrubbing. You're unclean.
Unclean? That's nonsense. Can't we just...
No, I told you. With rubbing alcohol or white vinegar.
All right, all right. What is he doing there all day? Ambrose says he breeds rats that carry the plague.
Your friends are ignorant. The doctor is a brilliant man. If anyone can save this city, it's him.
The royal physician is going to save us. I hear his new elixir is twice as good against the plague.
I don't understand how Galvani can admire Sokolov. Royal physician or not, I hear tell he's a beast. A superstitious philanderer who spends more time with prostitutes than he does in the laboratory.
Is this what it's going to be like when we're married? It is, isn't it?
I hope not. I'm telling you now, I don't have the endurance for it. What will I do now?
Travel to Panacea. Excerpt from a travel chronicle by Anton Sokolov. The men I set out with are good sailors. No doubt half of them have cut their teeth on the rascally pirate ships spawned by the Sarkodian archipelago. Or they were, I should say. Half of them died before we sighted the broken red cliffs welcoming those who would visit the far continent, as it is called. Sickness, infighting, poisoned by a school, or some would say a flock, of small fish that fly over the waves like birds, landing in the hundreds across the deck, pricking anything they touch with toxic quills, 2 thrown overboard by gusty demon winds, the quiet Tivian navigator simply dead in his bunk, wrapped in his white furs, eyes wide with terror. Few have crossed the ocean, and the distance to Panacea is greater than most would imagine. More died climbing the cliffs, and now with but a handful, I stand looking across the greatest expanse of land that exists. My allies are frightened, for this is beyond them, and now their captain is dead too, stung by something that resembled a prairie mole, but reacted with great apocalyptic outrage when handled. So it falls on me to lead them. Dr. Galvani's journal. I've been invited to a soiree at the Boyle estate. Of course I won't attend. The 28th day of the 7th month, the month of high cold, is the day I met Anton Sokolov at the academy. Why would I tarnish the anniversary of the most important day of my life by licking aristocratic boots? I have no time for fools. I will be solving the riddle of this plague. Perhaps I'll raise a cup of Tivian red.
Cold as a whaler's gaff hand. 50 years old at least. This guy fought for me.
Forget his old ass. I can't even remember the Empress. We tagged it plain. Under Clavering Street is ours. Come on. What's the take? 20 plus 2 of
Confiscated rune. Corporal medals. We found this strange rune on the woman who used to sell pastries up the street. Not sure how she died, but since the thing looks superstitious, we set it aside for the overseers. After your shift is over, take it to them for disposal, or whatever they do with them. Don't forget.
second day is when the skin really starts to come all the way off. Is that true? Or is it the itching that really gets you? Or the rats?
Jasper, isn't it? It's not so bad in here. Except I miss your wife.
Ha! You don't scare easy, I'll give you that. That'll change.
Psst, Corvo. It's me, Overseer Martin. What a sight you are in that mask. I know who you are and what you're here to do. And I can help. Unlock me and I'll buy you a drink in a couple of days. Feels good to stand up straight. Thank you, Corvo. What you're here to do tonight is of the highest importance. We've got to find Emily, so kill Campbell and make it quick. Once it's done, search his body for the journal, his notorious black book, and get out of there. Campbell is meeting with a guard named Kernow, and word from my informant is that Campbell is going to poison him. Maybe you can use that to your advantage. All right, I won't be of any help here, so I'll make my own way back to the Hound Pits pub. If I see Samuel the boatman, I'll tell him to pick you up in the backyard, behind the office of the High Overseer. May all the spirits guide you, and may our enemy's head hit the floor without you taking a scratch.
Okay, everyone, we're going to stop here so far. Thank you for watching so far, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.